In this video, I'll be going over the practice problem set on ions and isotopes. So this first one, it starts with a couple of questions. It says, what's an ion? So an ion is simply a charged atom. Okay, a charged atom. And then with this, it says, what does the number next to the ion signify? It signifies a charge. Okay, so it tells you what the charge is. Which is, we'll talk about this, but it's based on whether it gains electrons or loses electrons or how that works. But the number is the charge. Some background knowledge on this. It says reminders up here in the top left corner. Neutral atoms have the same number of protons and electrons. Protons are positively charged. Electrons are negatively charged. When you're talking about charge, an atom doesn't lose protons because the protons are at the nucleus of an atom. The electrons are the things that are exchanged or gained or lost. Those are on the outside. The other thing here is that protons, the way that you know how many protons something has is its atomic number on the periodic table is its number of protons. So the number of protons for an element is sort of like its identity. Going here and starting to work through these, the first one here, it tells you the number of protons is 53. That allows you to look at the periodic table and you can identify that atomic number 53 is iodine. If you look at the electrons, there's one more electron than there are protons. Electrons are negatively charged, so we've got I minus here. And in terms of electrons, it gained an extra electron here, so it gained one. Number two, number of protons is 16. Looking at the periodic table, we can figure out that that is sulfur. All right, the symbol here, it gained 2 electrons, it says, so that means that it's going to have 18 electrons. It's going to have more electrons than it has protons, so it's going to be a negative charge. So this ends up being S2 minus. For potassium, potassium is K. If you look up the atomic number on that, it's 19. This says that it has lost 1 electron, so it's going to have 18 electrons there. Losing an electron gives it a positive charge, so it's K+. Alrighty. The next one here, calcium 2+, Ca2+. If you look this up, calcium, first of all, just spelling out its name, calcium. The atomic number for calcium is 20, so it has 20 protons. Since it's a 2+, it has lost 2 electrons. All right, and then that gives it 18 electrons on this one as well. Number 5, we see that it has 35 protons. If it has 35 protons, that identifies it as bromine. Symbol here is Br. You can see there that it has gained 1 extra electron. All right, and that makes it Br minus. Number 6, Sr is strontium. If you look it up on the periodic table, strontium is number 38. So that gives it 38 protons. It's a 2+, so it has lost 2 of its electrons. So that means it only has 36 electrons remaining. This next one is hydrogen. It is atomic number 1 on the periodic table. Because it has a plus charge, that means it has lost 1 of its electrons. All right, which means it has 0 electrons. Number 8, atomic number 8. This is oxygen. Oxygen has a symbol of O. It says it's gained 2 electrons, so that means it has 10, and its overall charge is 2 minus. For number 9, we're looking for the element with atomic number 12. That's magnesium. Which is Mg. This is its lost 2 electrons, so that means it has 10 electrons. It's got more protons than electrons here by 2, so it's a 2+ charge. Aluminum, look it up on the periodic table. You find that its atomic number is 13. That means it has 13 protons. It has 10 electrons, it says. All right, so that means aluminum has a 3+ charge. And it has lost 3 electrons. Next one, atomic number 34, that is selenium. Which has atomic symbol Se. It's got 2 more electrons here than it has protons, so it's got a 2- charge, and that means it gains 2 extra electrons in this case. For number 12, this is hydrogen again, but this is the negative version of it, so we've got hydrogen. It has 1 proton, but since it's the negative version, it's gained an electron, so it has 2 electrons. All right, it has gained 1. For lithium, that symbol Li, it's atomic number 3, so that means it has 3 protons. It lost one of its electrons then, so it only has 2 electrons. Rb is rubidium. If you look that up, it has atomic number 37. It has a plus charge, okay, which means it has lost 1 electron, which makes it 36 there. I just noticed on this last one here, lithium should have been Li+, because it lost 1 electron there as well. All right, for the last one, we've got chlorine here. You know that because the atomic number is 17. That's Cl. It has 1 more electron than proton, so it's a minus charge, and it has gained 1 extra electron on this one. All right, so that's that for the ions. Ions have different charges. They get this by either gaining or losing electrons. A neutral atom has the same number of electrons as it does protons, and then it either gains electrons or loses electrons to take on whatever charge it has, and that's how that is determined. For the back here, it says, what's an isotope? All right, so isotopes are atoms of the same element that have different masses. What does the number next to the isotope signify? It's the mass. And how can you tell them apart? By the number of neutrons they have. So protons will not change. Again, the protons make the element what it is, but the neutrons can change. Okay, so on this one, we're going to go through. A lot of these blanks end up being the same because, for instance, I'll go through on this first one, it's chromium. So if you look up chromium on the periodic table, you see that it's atomic number 24. That tells you that all chromium is going to have 24 protons, so both of them will have 24. Also, for this entire side of this sheet, we're going to assume that there's the same number of protons and electrons because we don't have any ions on this side of the sheet. So that means it will also have 24 electrons. So in essence, for this entire sheet, all 4 of these boxes are going to have the same number. The thing that we're looking at is the number of neutrons. All right, so this first one says it's chromium 58. The total mass there then is 58. There are 24 protons, so to make up the remainder of the mass, we need 34 neutrons. The electrons don't count for the mass, so protons and neutrons added together give you 58. The next one has to have a mass of 63. We know it has 24 protons. That means it needs 39 neutrons to make up the remainder of the mass to have 63. And again, we ignore the electrons because they have insignificant mass compared to the other things. The next one, this one with carbon here. Carbon is atomic number 6, so it's going to have 6 protons. Again, these are not charged, so it's going to have the same number of electrons as it does protons. And then the neutrons, we have to make up the total mass. So this is carbon 12, has a mass of 12. That means it would need 6 neutrons because 6 neutrons plus 6 protons gives you 12. For carbon 16, we would need 10 neutrons because 10 neutrons and 6 protons gives you 16. Nitrogen, again, just look up the atomic number for nitrogen. It's atomic number 7. That tells you how many protons it has. Same number of electrons because it's a neutral atom. Then we have to look here. To make a mass of 15, we would need 8 for the neutrons because then neutrons plus protons equals 15. To make up 20, we need a 13 there for the mass, all right, because 7 plus 13 equals 20. Sulfur, atomic number 16, so 16 for the protons, 16 for the electrons. To figure out the number of neutrons then, 7 on this first one, so that 7 plus 16 adds up to be 23. And then this next one has 9 because 9 and 16 adds to be 25. On the bottom here, pretty similar. Iodine, you look up its atomic number. Its atomic number is 53. So 53 goes in all of these boxes. Then we need to find its mass by adding its neutrons and its protons together. 53 plus 32 is 85. 53 plus 35 is 88. All right, so we're writing the masses in there. The next one here for iron. Iron is atomic number 26. All right, adding the protons and neutrons together gives us 53 for the first one. 26 plus 30 gives us 56. All righty. Last 2 problems here. This one, it just gives us that 155 there, but we know that all 4 of these boxes are the same, so these are all 55s. Atomic number 55 is cesium. The mass number here, 55 plus 113 is 168. For the next one, it's also cesium. Adding the masses together there, we get 166. This one here tells us we've got 32 protons, so that means both of them are going to be 32, and the electron's also 32. To find the mass, well, actually first, to find the element, we have to look up atomic number 32. That is germanium. I'm going to raise this up just a little bit so I have room. And then the kind of germanium that we have here, you add the masses together, so 30 plus 32 gives you 62. And then the next one is still germanium, but this one has a mass of 64. All right. So that is that. If you have any questions about ions or isotopes or how any of this works, please make sure you come in and ask.